Hello and welcome to the first episode of Off the Map Live 2015. Thanks for joining us. I hope you caught the best of. That was our last show that we put up for you. Little snippets of what we did in 2014. There's Paul Booth, Hannah Aitchison, Aaron Della Vedova, Larry Brogan, Stefano Alcantara. I don't know, if you take a look right below you, right below this video, you can see that if you haven't seen it. And you can check out all of our videos on our YouTube channel. As I said, last show was best of 2014, and on our next show, we'll be talking with a Canadian blackwork master, Corey Ferguson, and some to-be-determined mystery guests. So make sure you tune in. I'm really excited about this episode. This is the Paradise Artist Retreat special, kind of. We're going to be talking a lot about art, not so much about tattoos. Stick around because we're going to be giving away a ticket to this year's Paradise Artist Retreat. We'll put a link up in the chat room. Click on that link, fill out the form, make sure you fill in all the fields, and at the end of the show, we'll be calling one lucky winner to give away that ticket. Over a $700 value, I believe. I went to the last one, and it changed my path in art. It could change yours too. It's a really amazing event. This show could not be possible without our sponsors. Artisan Tattoo Cleanser and Aftercare. They've been a sponsor of the show for the entire last season, and they're with us again for the beginning of this one. Waterloo Tattoo Storage. If you haven't seen these rolling tattoo stations, check one out at a convention near you. They're like a toolbox, but better. They've got a stainless steel top with a drip catch tray. They're truly amazing. And Neotat rotary tattoo machines. Bulletproof. You can run them over with a truck. As a matter of fact, Ray Webb has, and they'll keep going. Check them out at the upcoming Hell City Tattoo Convention. I know they'll be there. They're always there. They're great. So as I said, we got a contest coming up. Make sure you sign up when you see that special link come up in the chat room. If you got some friends that might want to enter, make sure you tell them, and we want them watching too. This episode, we will be Skyping in with Jeff Gogue, Dan Marshall, and Gabe Leonard. And like I said, we're going to be talking about art, painting, inspiration, life path, why we chose things that we did, and it's bound to be a very interesting conversation. So we'll be back after this ad. It'll be a little bit about the Paradise Artist Retreat, something from Waterloo, and then we'll be back. We'll get Dan Marshall on the line. And make sure you stick with us. We've got lots of great things coming your way, including Tattoo of the Day and Rebecca Hanlon with Tattoo Now Network News. So we'll see you on the other side of this commercial. We'll be right back. Hello.
We're at a really pivotal point right now where we can all make a leap forward.
In the modern age, that's where the floodgates of tattooing has opened up. And every young kid wants to grow up and be a tattooer.
You limit yourself and think, oh, I can't afford that, or I'm not good enough, or just sort of be introspective about the ways that your fears and your insecurities get triggered.
There's a lot of talent coming in, and if you want to make money, and if you want to be a part of, and if you want the respect of your comrades in this industry, you have to do everything you can do to grow. And no singular movement in the industry is more powerful at taking this creative energy and pushing it towards growth than Tattoo Now, Paradise Artist Retreats. And if you're not coming to these things, you're getting left behind. That's all there is to it.
I can feel it elevating me to another place, another level of understanding. I keep thinking the word retreat. It is an artist's retreat. And just by definition of the word, to retreat or pull back from the front lines of your life and everything that you're doing, the busyness, and to literally calm myself.
I really love being around serious artists, and the artists that are here are all of them serious artists. And so when you get 100 serious artists together, it creates a special kind of energy.
I'm so honored to be invited, and such incredible people and such a high caliber of artists that are here, because you've got people that are practicing their art every day.
So busy all the time, and I do work every day, and I paint as much as I can at home, but to be in a space with other people doing it, in a place that's beautiful like this.
Painters get inspired, artists get inspired. Yeah, if you don't do anything else in the year, then just go to one of these events. It's just amazing.
Letting all these creative juices just flow together, and it's awesome. I've never experienced anything like this. It gives me hope for the future.
Whenever you're surrounded by this much talent and productive talent, like people who are taking their talent and making lots of artwork, you bring inspiration and ideas.
Working with all these great artists, you feed off of them, and you feed off of the energy.
In just 4 days of being here, I find myself being able to apply different artists' techniques.
I feel super honored to be here participating in the retreat amongst the world's greatest.
Everyone is putting out amazing work. If I had the money, I would buy everything on the floor.
And as being visual people like we are, artists, all you have to do is see it. You know, you see what someone else is doing and it affects you. So, I mean, no price is too much to go home change.
You need to be here. Come join us.
Well, hey, welcome back. Hey, Dan, you're on Off the Map Live right now.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Sorry for the sneak attack there. We don't.
It's all right.
Your backdrop looks amazing.
Thanks. I finally have my own room to paint in instead of just a little corner in New York, so I'm pretty happy with the space here.
You have a lot more room. You recently moved, yes?
Yes, yeah, I moved out to Huntington Beach from New York, and I left the shop with Tim at Tribulation Tattoo, and now I'm at Adam Callan's shop called Live Once Inc. in Orange County, and kind of a sort of a part-time basis, spending a lot of time painting. So I kind of split my months up with kind of half tattooing and half watercolor painting.
I've seen a lot of your watercolors, especially recently since I found your Instagram. Your styles are very divergent between what you tattoo and what you paint.
Yeah, a little bit.
What's the reason for that?
Well, it's kind of a long circular story in a way. Like a lot of tattooers, I had done some kind of traditional tattoo type spit shading watercolor type stuff in the past. Then I had sort of moved away from that kind of aspect of art when I started to work with Paul at Last Rites, and it became much more of a black and gray themed environment and sort of image, darker themed images and stuff. So I moved to a lot of oil painting and acrylic painting, a lot more kind of figurative and skull-based, creepy, demon-y, zombie type stuff, which is super fun to paint. Lots of fun textures and a lot of fun stuff.
Definitely more Last Rites appropriate.
Right. And that was great to explore. With going to work for Paul, he asked you to sort of explore the darker side of your psyche and your art, and there wasn't a whole lot of that going on at the time. Sure, people did skulls and stuff, but it wasn't like it is now. That was 15 years ago or so. So, the industry has changed a lot. The tattoo industry has changed a lot. A lot of people are painting. A lot of people are painting skulls. A lot of people are embracing the sort of darker aspect of art, and that side of it. And honestly, I had gotten a little burned out. With traveling a lot, doing a lot of conventions, a lot of, I think I kind of hit that sort of weird wall where you get worried about what people expect of you in a way. And it wasn't any kind of like a conscious decision or anything to change, but I had gone to visit my family in Seattle, and I stumbled across a watercolor exhibit at this steakhouse. It's like a art bistro kind of thing. And there was an artist there. His name is Ron Stoke. He's a Northwestern watercolor painter. And that was really the first thing I'd seen of watercolor done in sort of an impressionist kind of looser style that is so different to what tattooing is, as far as being so tight and technical and precise in a way. And I was like instantly mesmerized. So that was kind of where that had all started. And I was traveling so much, and I thought it would be so cool just to do a little sketch of when we're in Paris or when we're in London or when we're in Tokyo or Osaka, just have a nice, I kind of started with the idea of keeping more of a sketchbook journal and doing some little impressionist watercolor paintings,
What's the scale of what you're painting now? It's a little hard to tell sometimes online how big or small things are.
There's sort of I don't want to say a set size, but there's a sort of a single sheet of watercolor paper is it's an imperial sizing system, I guess, from England or whatever.
Man, we still can't shake those guys.
Yeah. And so basically, in general terms, the largest a lot of that times you'll work is full sheet size, which is 22 by 40. No, so I'm not really sure. But then so then you have a half sheet. You fold it in half, and you have two pieces. You have half sheet size. That's another very common size, and that's more. It's closer to a I guess it's 14 by 22. Okay. Maybe something like that. And then a quarter sheet size is like 11 by 15, roughly. It's so I'm not really good at math, but it's when I work outside, when I work outside on location, generally the smallest size I'm working is a quarter sheet size. It's just very manageable for when you're on location. There's a lot going on. There's people around. There's all kinds of stuff. So it's very manageable. I will do half sheet stuff if I'm in a more rural area, like a less traffic-y area. When I'm painting on the streets of New York, I would never use anything bigger than a half sheet, than a quarter sheet. It's just a lot more manageable, So, but yeah, as far as size-wise, that's pretty much what that is.
Where did you learn that style?
Well, after seeing that guy painting, or seeing those paintings in Seattle, and then kind of thinking, oh, this is easy. This is so loose. I could do this, like most artists or people who are a little big in their britches might think. And what's the quote that, painting is easy until you know how to do it. So I had tried and failed at a few different things, and they were so amateurish. So it looked like literally like a grade school person had done them. And I'm like, how can this be happening? I draw every day. I paint all this stuff. But totally embracing a new visual language and a new style of a new way of seeing shapes, not objects. It's like seeing things as a true painter and not as an illustrator, which is up to this point. So breaking out of that sort of illustrator mentality and into sort of a fine art way of thinking. So I start searching for videos or DVDs and people who I had, because that whole branch of art was so foreign to me, so I just didn't know it was, I whatever, but I didn't know really there was any sort of modern master watercolor painters doing this kind of thing. And there's a guy by the name of Joseph Zerbokovich, who is pretty much the epitome of what I was looking for with painting, what I wanted to get across, and stylistically what really spoke to me as far as a certain amount of sophistication and elegance. And it's transparent watercolor, but in certain areas there's a certain opacity to things that really pop out against the transparency. And sometimes it can really look like oil, but it's watercolor. And people ask me all the time, "Oh, have you ever tried oils? Are you would you do this in oil?" And I have zero interest in painting this type of stuff in oil paint. For me, it's the whole act of the way the watercolor moves and the way it reacts and what you can do with it, and you can't really control it. Like if you just have to sort of control it without controlling it. It's a really strange thing, but you're not you're definitely not the boss of the painting. If you try to pursue what you originally envisioned, you're probably not going to come out with a good painting. Because you kind of have to.
Where you can push it around, scrape it off,
Right. Once it's done, you just do another one.
Right.
But Joseph, his nickname is Z because a lot of people can't pronounce his last name. I had gotten one of his DVDs, and I had no real schooling in this type of painting or anything. I really had no idea which end of the brush to use, so to speak. So I sought him out and found him doing a workshop on the coast of Spain, and they had a cancellation, so I got to go to do that, and that was, I guess, 3 years ago. So I've really only been painting like this for 3.5 years.
Did that workshop push you? Did it change the way you were painting? Did it?
Well, I was following his techniques anyway, but it just completely opened my mind opened my eyes and blew my mind about what I should be doing and how I should be doing it. And I've formed a relationship with Joseph. We've become good friends, and we chat and stuff. He's in Australia, but once a year I go and hang out at the workshop with him and break whatever bad habits I've been accumulating in the last year. But but I literally paint every day, like every day. It's a complete and utter obsession. If I'm tattooing at 11, I'm out painting at 7 or 8 in the morning.
You selling your paintings?
I right now I just sell them through my website. It's demartialart.com.
That's good. We want people to know. So, are you going to bring a bunch with you to the artist retreat?
Yeah. I have a ton that I'm bringing, and I'll be painting my way. We'll be driving out there, so I'll be painting along the way. We're going to take like a couple days to drive out, and then most of these paintings take. If it takes over an hour and a half, it's taking too long. Something is not working right. So it's a very, 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 very alla prima. It's very much in the moment, and in every painting is different because you have different things are happening. And it's a very quick kind of process.
So we've got a live chat room going on right now, and people like to ask questions, and we encourage it. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions from the people that are watching.
Okay.
They range. So what paperweight do you like to use most? What weight?
I'm super specific about my paper. I use Saunders Waterford rough paper, and it's 140 pound. I've since discovered they have a paper called a single elephant. Again, it's English. Yeah.
Is it really heavy?
But it's larger. So, as far as paperweight goes, like 140 pound paper I wish I could remember the damn size of the paper.
That's all right, man. Don't worry about it.
But that size of the paper, a ream of that weighs 140 pounds. That's how they weigh paper, Well, they have this other paper. It's basically a 260 pound weight, but it's a larger sheet. So a full sheet is larger than the sheet of 140 pound paper. So it weighs 260. But since it's a larger sheet, it actually it would be more like 180 or maybe 200 pound.
Okay.
If you,
I get it.
So it's slightly heavier, but it's really hard to get in the States. There's one store in New York that carries it that I'm going to stock up on when I get back home. I'm going back at the end of the month to hang out for a week with Tim at Tribulation and do some work.
Great.
But generally speaking, I use Saunders Waterford 140-pound rough paper. I use Arches on occasion. It really does do different things than Saunders does. It's almost, to me, it's almost more of a wafer-like in a way, like if you ever took communion, and there's almost a wafer hardness quality to Arches, which, which some people really like. But to me, I like the sort of, I work primarily top to bottom. There's a lot of sort of wet on wet going on in each area kind of as it goes. So I like the way the Saunders Waterford absorbs the ink. And at 140-pound, it doesn't absorb too much. Like if you were to use a 300-pound paper, you really have to use a lot more pigment and a lot more water, and it sort of changes the way things happen. Anyway, that was a long answer to the short question of what kind of paperweight I use. But I am very particular.
I'm going to ask
and
you,
it's I'm
going to ask you a quick question, and then
Okay.
we're going to bring in Jeff Gogue.
Sure.
And we're going to ask some more group questions later when we get everybody going.
Cool. Can't wait, man.
So this question is, how's it working with the badass Brandon Lopez at Live Once Inc.?
It's pretty badass. Is that Brandon?
It's probably Brandon.
Yeah. Brandon is awesome. He is the most focused and considerate tattooer I've ever met. He is a super dude.
Cool. So we're gonna go to a quick ad, and in the meantime, hang with us.
Okay.
We're gonna bring up Jeff, and we'll get some group conversation going on.
Cool. Sounds good.
And during the commercial, just try to keep quiet because we won't be able to turn off your microphone.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Hello. No web traffic?
Hey, Jeff.
Still not booking appointments? Is your web designer missing in action? Well, now there's hope. TattooNow.com. We work on all levels, from artists just starting out to professional tattooers of exceptional influence.
My name's Gabe Ripley. I founded TattooNow.com well over 10 years ago at this point. Ultimately, at the core of what we do is power websites and mobile apps. What we do is allow the artists to do the easy part, which is upload their portfolio, update their news or their blog, and then we use our special programming to distribute that content on multiple websites throughout the internet and mobile app universe.
Tattoo Now creates high-traffic websites specifically for the tattoo industry. My name is Brian Kopthite. I've been working for Tattoo Now since 2009. I am the primary. Tattoo Now powered websites create new clientele and new revenue for artists that are new, established artists, or established studios. We'll help to get you booked up for a month doing just the tattoos that you want to do.
And that's where your friend can't build one as good as us. That's all we do is build websites for tattooers every day. But what we have at Tattoo Now really can't be matched.
Tattoo Now website is very simple. If you can do social media, you can update to Tattoo Now. Do that 24/7. You can go home at the end of the night, and you have done a great tattoo, and you're excited about it, you update that tattoo. It goes instantly to your website, it goes to your profile page, it goes to the iPhone app. It's what Tattoo Now is all about.
You know, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. And if you look at the statistics and the amount of traffic that we're able to provide and the amount of clients that we're able to attract, no one can touch us.
And we're back. Hello, Jeff and Dan. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Hey, and now I can see both of you. Welcome to the show, Jeff.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're more than welcome. You're always welcome. So I see you're at the shop there. How's everything?
I am. It's good. Yeah, things are going great.
Yeah. You look fuzzier than I've seen you in the past.
Yeah, it's cold out here, so I've been leaving my hair a little longer.
And you look extremely fit. It's impressive. It's pretty inspiring.
Thanks. Midlife crisis. you turn 40 and you start assessing things.
I hope that happens to me soon then.
I had one of those.
I haven't had one yet. I don't think. Well, maybe I did. I started working here.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, you're going to be going to the Paradise Arts Retreat this year, yes?
I am. I'm not doing very many convention-like things, so that's one of the 2 things that I'm planning on and looking forward to it.
You were at the last one. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience there?
Yeah, it's just a great environment to be in. It's I think that most tattooers, we live these super busy lives and we're totally consumed with our daily schedule and the next client and the next tattoo and that fast pace. And it is truly a retreat from that. You know, you retreat back from that busyness. A little bit of time to just focus on yourself, focus on the stuff that you, I guess, that got you interested in the first place, which is doing art. And, you know, I grew up watching my mom leave once a year for artist retreats in New Mexico. And it's, you know, it's just, I guess it's the place to go and do art.
Well, it is beautiful there, you know. What led you in the direction of tattoo over purely art? I know you've been doing art since forever, but you definitely put a strong emphasis on tattoo.
Yeah.
What led you in that direction, away from artwork?
Well, I think just the promise and the ease of making a living. You know, I've been doing artwork and trying to sell artwork since I was 13. I just made a post about it a couple days ago, and I had my first limited edition print 28 years ago.
Whoa.
Or 27 years ago when I was 13. And I've been selling art ever since, but it doesn't mean that it's easy. And if I had to depend on selling canvases or drawings for my monthly needs and my bills, it would be very difficult. So tattooing brought in that stability. And after a few years, I'd say 5 years, that's when I started back on canvas. And it's funny looking at Dan's work, and you know, as I watched that, I'm just going, oh, he's doing real art, you know. And it's funny to have people walk in my shop and they'll look around and they'll say, oh, you have real art in here too. And it's just funny that I just did the exact same thing, where I looked at Dan's, you know, paintings. I'm going, holy shit, he does real art. You know, it looks super legitimate, and I guess we are artists, so it shouldn't be that surprising, but it is. It's coming from
weird to
tattooing.
be going backwards in a industry that is always going forward and pushing new, exciting art. It feels really interesting to me to step back and push it into you know, it's more about the mood than about the intensity. So it's really strange to me as well.
Yeah. Well, it's great to see. I loved it.
Thanks, Jeff.
Why do you guys think that you consider that style of art as real art? You know, or why is that real art and other things not? You know, why is tattooing not as real as watercolor landscapes?
I think what I meant is the the humor in that is that it is real art. Anything you do to create and to express something, a mood, a feeling, a message. If you're creating imagery, you're making art. But we have this separation from tattoos and things on paper or canvas, and we call that real art, quote unquote. And
yeah, going to that traditional assumption of what is art, I guess.
Right. So it's just an ironic statement.
So, Jeff, you've been traveling a little bit over this last year. What have you been up to?
I traveled a lot last year, lots of shows, lots of trips. I felt like all around the world. I kind of go to the same places. I go to Japan, I go to Italy. I went back to the London show, went to France a couple times. In fact, I think the last time I saw Dan was in France, not 2014, but the year before, and we were in Kental, and you were out there painting, and I didn't even see your paintings there, but everyone was talking about it, and they were like, "Oh man, he's actually really good at these watercolors." So this is the first time I've seen him, and you're super good.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm back to Oregon now for this year, and I really want to focus on my business, my shop, my home, and my family. And I want to get back to the fundamentals of my art, first and foremost being tattooing. And I want to pretty much deconstruct tattoos as I know it and tattooing and work it down to the very fundamentals, practice them, identify them, and apply them, and then hopefully come out, I would say in another year's time with, I guess maybe a more fresh perspective on it, and hopefully a stylized approach that has a little bit more of my own voice.
Is it hard to keep it fresh when you've been doing it for so long? Is it challenging?
Yeah, I think so. It's, especially with the daily inundating of other people's work and other influences. You look on your Instagram feed, everywhere you look, it's instant. You see what everyone's doing moment by moment, play by play. And as visual people, we're easily influenced, and it's easy to see something and imitate, duplicate, replicate. So yeah, trying to stay focused on your own perspective and your own message is hard, and it's a conscious thing that you need to, or I need to, look outside of that within reach view, and try to pull from music and moods, like Dan was saying, try to pull from things outside of what everyone in our industry is looking at. And for me, I'm definitely planning on focusing in on the fundamentals of tattoos.
I've got a question for both of you guys from the folks watching. It's kind of a pretty big question, but how do you keep motivated? We'll start with you, Dan. How do you keep motivated to be productive and to keep working?
Well, with the stuff I post on Instagram and Facebook, it's happening then. I don't have a stock of stuff that I'm sort of posting on. By feeling that I'm sort of helping in some way possibly motivate others and to show people that it's possible to produce something every day and to really love what you're doing and not just doing it because you think you should be doing it. So anyway, that stuff I'm posting, it's all happening at that moment. And for me, the simple act of painting, when I close my eyes, I can literally see washes go down paper. And if it's sort of like I don't feel like painting that day or whatever, I'll sort of see that in my mind, and I just have to go do it. Like, I can't explain it. It's become such a crazy obsession. And I've started a sketchbook, a sort of obsessive sketchbook drawing now. I'll do a lot of pencil sketches and watercolor sketches in my sketchbook, and that keeps me motivated by seeing just different possibilities, different subjects I might want to paint, different things, and just I think I've started to pull inspiration from reality now instead of from fantasy, which is again, that sort of, this is my tattoo career in fantasy and this is my painting career in reality. And it's so freaky to pull inspiration from reality when you're so used to sort of creating it out of your head. So for me, it's all just sort of new again. You know, it's like a whole new way of creating, which keeps me, it's more than motivation. It's a complete obsession to do it every day.
It sounds like you're really excited about it. You know,
well, sorry.
Listening to you makes me want to go paint something. You know,
well, it really is.
That obsessed.
It's, you know, I was that way with tattooing. I still love tattooing. I'm not interested in stopping tattooing. You know, like it's but you know, most of my tattoo. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm not going to say that. But a lot of the people that follow my feeds now are not. The majority is not tattooers, you know. So
well,
I
know you've got two, right? You've got two feeds, kind of, right?
Yeah, I ended up splitting it up to like a Dan Marshall tattoo and a Dan Marshall art, just because it was. I like to look at each feed and just see the whole blocks of paintings, and since there's sort of two parts of me, I had to figure I'd make two feeds. But the you know, the inspiration now is everywhere around me instead of just coming from myself. So that's where my inspiration is sort of coming from to keep motivated.
So Jeff, same question to you. How do you keep motivated? I know you're constantly working and you must get tired sometimes. How do you stay motivated?
You know, I don't know. It comes from within. It's a drive that I can't quite explain. And I do a lot of introspection and reflection on who I am as a person and why I do the things I do. I read a lot of books on human behavior, social development. I know that sounds boring, but I'm kind of obsessed with understanding humanity and who we are, but from that very simple kind of gut level that where I'm operating from. So I don't want to spend the rest of my life just gathering information. So I try to take it in chunks and apply it to my life. I try to be somewhat analytical of who I am and how and why I do things, more why. I feel like if you have a good why you do things, then that will just push you through and you know, it'll force you to figure out the how. So I'm very philosophical by nature, and that all kind of comes out in a very simplistic way. And you know, like listening to Dan, we're all really multifaceted, and that's the honesty or the honest truth about artists. We're expressive, multifaceted people that have a lot of sides to us, you know, so we shouldn't be boxed in, and yet there is a danger of being spread too thin or doing too much. So it's just trying to find that balance where you get to be productive, and meaning you produce things, you produce whatever you produce within your waking hours. And I don't know, I guess that's a long answer too, but I don't know where it comes from. It's just a drive, you know. I like to be productive rather than consume things like entertainment and what other people are doing. I'd like to share what I have, not from an arrogant standpoint or some sort of egotistical place, but just out of a pure, it's a reaction. You know, I'm reacting to my environment and my culture, just like you guys are, and just like everyone is. There's just a lot of people sitting on the sidelines, and then there's a few people that we jump out in the middle of the game.
If I can make a comment on Jeff's thing right there too, about the you know, like Jeff taking the time to really read and understand, you know, why he's doing things, and there's a certain amount of self-sacrifice in what you are. I don't want to say self-sacrifice, but your time management is super important. Like I don't play video games. I love video game art. I'm super inspired by anime stuff and game art, but I can't let myself do that because I should be drawing or I should be painting. So it's, you know, people who say they don't have time to draw, or they don't have time to create. I work 9 to 5 and I have a kid, and you know, I know, but you have to sort of make. You have to really decide to you what's important or not. If you really want to master whatever skill you're trying to do, there is a certain amount of self denial to really get what you want out of your creative life.
Yeah, I agree.
I've got quite a few questions in the chat room. I'm going to try to pick out a couple, and then we're going to go to a quick ad, and then we'll bring in Gabe Leonard and talk to him. So Jeff, this is more of a technical question. I don't know if you'll be able to answer it or not, but how do you know when to use Galkid medium or thinner while painting?
That's a pretty simple question. Thinner is a solvent, so I only use thinner to really wash my brushes. Yeah, a medium like Galkid. Galkid is just one of many mediums. That's what you use to cut the paint's intensity. Thinner is used to clean your brushes. It's a little, I guess it technically can be used to thin the paint because it's called paint thinner. But really you want to think of it as a solvent that cleans your brushes, and you want to use medium to cut the intensity of the paint. That's the quickest answer.
Great. Thank you very much. Because you've been to the retreat before, Jeff, someone would like to know if they were going to come for the first time, what would you recommend they bring with them?
I recommend bringing reasonable size canvases or whatever substrate you're painting on. Don't bring giant canvases, it takes too long. You want to be able to just get in, apply the techniques you're seeing around you, and really it's like a workshop. So you don't want to come there and spend the entire time trying to make a masterpiece just because someone around there, you wanted to see it. So what you want to do is bring a lot of materials, a lot of raw materials, so you can just bust through them and really apply all the stuff it's going to be like a flood of information. Even when you're not in the workshops, you're going to be watching the people around you and in the room paint, and it's going to trigger a lot of different techniques that you're going to want to try. So just bring a lot of supplies, bring a super open mind, maybe a lot of caffeine, so you can spend the time doing it. It's not a place to come and take naps or just kind of daydream. It's a place to get things done and apply, really soak in as much as you can, so when you go home, you can perfect those things. It's really just like dipping your toes in the pool and getting a taste of it, and then go home and work on that until the next one.
I personally would recommend bringing a notebook and or tape recorder, because there is just so much information provided that you're going to want to go home and kind of remember it and go back through it, and because it's almost overwhelming. There's so much amazing stuff. You're going to feel overwhelmed in a good way, I would say. I know I did.
I think I see a lot of people come there with some insecurities and maybe some trepidation that they're trying to impress people, or they're worried that they're not good enough. And really, the whole entire point of it is to get information and exposure. And there's something to be said about kind of, I guess, the metaphysical aspects of being around that creative element and seeing people operate in that. It really does elevate you. No matter what level you're on, it'll bring you up from where you are. It's not about who you're impressing, it's about soaking in the information.
So, this is another question from the chat room. Thanks for that, Jeff. Was there ever a time when you didn't feel like an artist? Dan, was there ever a time you didn't feel like an artist?
Well, I don't know. I'll tell you when I do feel like an artist is when I do take every moment possible and use my sketchbook as a tool. I was inspired most by seeing artists that I really respected with sketchbooks and doing things all the time. Like they're sitting there in line and they're sketching, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, just relax. And that I was like, wait a minute, I should be doing that. Like it doesn't matter if you look like, I have a beret. I wear it sometimes. You know what I mean? You're an artist. Do it. So if you want to play the
pipe.
game.
I know, I've seen it.
I don't smoke anymore, but it's a prop, you know. But if you if you want to, there's nothing wrong with trying to be an artist. And when I stand outside with my kit that I built to paint, on location and stuff, people stop all the time. They honk their horns, they stop their car, they get out, they come talk, and people love to see art being created. And I really like feeling like an artist, and I like feeling like I'm living a creative life, which tattooing is very satisfying too. You're creating every day, and it's just moving into this. I don't know. I felt like an artist, but I kind of felt like a tattooer. I think the biggest thing for me about feeling like an artist is carrying a sketchbook wherever I go and using it literally any second I get.
Thanks. We're going to take a quick break. And after these ads, we're going to come back with all you guys, with Gabe Leonard as well. We'll have a little talk with him. And don't forget, everyone watching, to go on the chat room and log on to that special link so you can win yourself a ticket to the Paradise Artist Retreat. And we're going to call someone on this here telephone at the end of the show, and it might be you. So stick with us, and we'll be right back after a couple words from our sponsors. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Gary Shepard. I'm one of the owners here at Addictive Nature Tattoo Studio. I met with one of the reps at the Pacific Ink and Art Expo out in Hawaii. That's when I actually got hooked up with a lot more of the product. I started using it, being able to actually notice more what it does during the tattoo procedure. We all have noticed the same thing, that the redness and the swelling goes out of the tattoo, that while you're doing color or white, the highlights and the colors actually are a lot brighter after the tattoo procedure. And basically we've all said the same thing, that it's a real good product to use during the tattoo procedure and after.
We are back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break. Everyone on Skype, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Whoa.
Yep.
What's happening, Gabe?
Not much. Is that too loud?
No, it's good. It looks a little hazy where you're at.
Well, maybe. Yeah.
Looks like you
I can turn on if you need.
Looks like you just had a party in there.
I'm
How
having a
are
party.
you?
What's that?
I said, how are you?
Doing good. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
So, for some folks who might know, can you tell us a little bit how you got your start? I know you started showing your paintings on the beach, right?
Yeah, I started on the street, on the sidewalk in Venice Beach. Basically, I came out to LA from, I graduated art school in 1998, and I was wanting to get into background painting for feature animation, and all the animation studios are in LA, so I came out here for that. And basically all I had was a duffel bag and some art and a portfolio, and I was passing that around and trying to get in the studios, but wasn't getting any luck because all the work in traditional animation was going away due to digital animation. And so there was just no jobs and people were getting laid off. And so I was competing for work with people that had been doing it for 15, 20 years. They were trying to get jobs too. And so in the meantime, the only job I was able to get was at Macy's folding shirts for $6.25 an hour. And that wasn't really cutting it. And so I was always looking for some other opportunity to make some money of any sort. And I was down on the boardwalk in Venice one day. I saw some other artists selling their artwork down there, and it wasn't that good. I mean, not to be judgmental about it, but it wasn't that good art. But it occurred to me that they wouldn't be there for nothing. If they're making some sort of money, and if they can do it, then so can I. And so I've tried to figure out I tried to ask around to see what you had to do to be out there, and of course none of the artists there would tell me because I didn't want anybody out there competing for the space. I didn't know what the time they were all just kind of like shine me on. And so I called around and finally got a hold of the Parks and Rec department in LA, and they said all you had to do is be the artist selling your artwork. And because the reason I wanted to know that is I couldn't afford to buy a permit if you needed a permit to do it. And since there was no rules, just show up and bring your art. That's what I did.
That's great.
And the first day, so I went to Kinko's and I made some color copies of some of my landscape paintings and acrylic paintings and things I did in school. And I brought it all out to the boardwalk in a big portfolio case and laid it on the ground. And I sold a few color copies and made like $9 on the first day. But it cost me $6 to park, so it wasn't really that profitable. But it proved to me that I could make $1 just selling copies of my paintings or whatever. So I kept going back and was making like maybe $30 or $40 in a day. And I was doing little watercolor paintings and acrylic paintings and beach scenes along the boardwalk and selling those. And one day, one weekend I made more in a weekend than I was making in a week at Macy's. I made like $200 on the boardwalk.
Impressive.
And so I went in and tried to get weekends off, and they wouldn't give me weekends off because I was part-time at Macy's, so I quit my job. And that was the last job I ever had. I just went out and sold my art in the street, and found better ways to do it. The winter came, and the boardwalk dried up because all the tourists went home, and so I scrambled around doing commissions and whatever nickel and dime job I could get. Anybody that had left a phone number with me, I called and just scraped around, and I got a couple of jobs doing poster art for small theater plays, and I got around to the next summer, and I started making a little bit more money in Venice. Then I figured out other places to go in the fall, which started going to college campuses and selling my art to students who wanted art for their dorm rooms. I was selling like $10 prints of paintings and drawings that I made. Then I started going to music festivals like blues and street festivals and carnivals, and basically anywhere that I saw somebody selling anything, I saw as an opportunity to sell my art. And so I would just buy rent space at any salsa festival in Escondido or whatever nonsense thing you can think of. I was there selling my art, and then it just kind of snowballed. I guess just like kind of pushing the rock up a hill. I started getting more and more followers and clientele and collectors, and I started upping my game and kind of the size and scope of my paintings, and moved into limited edition prints and reinvested all my money back into printing equipment and studio space and materials for my art business. And eventually I started doing art festivals, like regular juried art festivals that were outdoor shows, but they're all over California at first, and then all over the country pretty much. So I was like kind of a traveling art show. And transitioned from that, I found a couple of guys to work with me as a business management, and they're busy securing galleries for me, and so I've managed to get into a network of galleries here in the U.S. and U.K., and just kind of taken it up another notch, I guess, as far as the game of selling art is concerned.
Well, that's
the run through, I guess. That's a big rambling sentence.
That was amazing. So pretty much you just put your head down and started making art and didn't stop making art. And
well, I've always made art. I've always been the kid in school who was drawing all the time, and it was one thing that I was good at that I excelled at. So it seemed like a no-brainer. I think at least for me when I was growing up, there was sort of the mantra of you go to school, you graduate high school, you go to college, you get a job, you work for 30 years, you retire, and so I was like, well, I'm good at painting and drawing. I'm better at, and I enjoy it more than I enjoy other things that I'm good at. I mean, I was good at some other things at school too, but so I looked around in this. I remember there's this book of careers, and it gave you an estimate of what you could expect to make in those careers, and I found, animators can make $80,000 a year. I'm like, so that seems like a legitimate job. So my goal was like, all right, I want to be an artist. There's jobs for artists. So I went to a school that gave me a scholarship that Disney happened to recruit out of. So that was the plan. I just went there, and my goal was to get hired by Disney or some other big company and work for 30 years and get a retirement package and all that nonsense.
Can I ask you a little bit about how you found the style that you paint in now?
The style is kind of an evolution. When I got out of school, there was a big push to have a style, and I didn't really have one. I had several, and I worked in different mediums and did different subject matters, and was kind of all over the place. And I had other friends that were like instantly recognizable. Everything they did was like you could tell it was them doing it. And every time I tried to come up with a style, it just didn't work. It was too contrived. It was too, forced. It looked phony. And so at one point I decided that it doesn't matter what it is. I'll just draw and paint however the hell I feel like doing it from one piece to the next. So I had floating trees in one painting. The next painting would be a vignetted nude, real detailed. The next drawing would be something loose and chaotic. And so I just did whatever I felt like doing. And I kind of fell into a subject matter of doing a lot of fantasy stuff, along the lines of like mermaids and fairies and like I said, floating trees and different things. And I was looking around at other artists that, like in gallery shows and things, and I realized that there's a lot of people doing similar things, and I felt like I fit in with everybody, but I really wanted to do something that was completely different. I wanted to do not that everybody was doing something that I didn't enjoy, but there's other people that were doing it better than me, to be honest. And so I was like, well, this isn't going to go very far for me if I keep going down this road. So I thought, well, what's 180 degrees different from what I'm doing? And I thought, well, what if I did paintings of bikers or something, like just like gnarly looking dudes with shotguns and pistols? And I started thinking about some of my interest in American history and where I grew up in Wyoming, and how there was a lot of outlaw and Native American history right around where I grew up. And so I just kind of combined those two ideas, and I thought, well, I'll just do a series of Wild West outlaws, historically based, lots of stories that nobody's even heard of that's in our own history. And so I started with that, and the subject matter and the style kind of just evolved into what it is. I didn't really set out to do anything specifically. I think it's like penmanship. I mean, you kind of arrive at it somehow.
Right. So Jeff Gogue is with us. Hey, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. You got a question for Gabe?
Yeah, well, you kind of answered it right there. I was
okay.
going to ask, in general, if you paint what you love or what you think people love, but you kind of answered that. So I guess my other question would be, how much do you focus on like the era of what you paint? I know for me, I worry about my work just looks super contemporary, and I'm always aiming at a little more timeless, or I guess a little bit more of a window of relevance. Does that play into what you think when you're painting?
No, not really. The wardrobe and technology is just a prop, and what I'm really painting is people that I know and the attitudes and personalities that we all relate to, and people that you might know. And so I could have them wearing cowboy hats and carrying pistols, or I can have them wearing suits and ties with scotch glasses and cigars, or I can put them in any costume you want, and that's what makes it timeless. It's not the details or the propping. It's what makes it timeless is the ability to relate to the person as a person. And so they don't see it as westerns or mobsters or pirates. They see it as, themselves or their friends in a certain way. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it totally does. I had said earlier that I'm reading a lot of books on kind of the metaphysical and attractor fields and the universe, and my brain's always going crazy, but I would say that based on that, your art has an incredible attractor field to it. It has a real honesty to it, and there's something super soulful. And I guess to someone just looking at it that say is an aspiring painter, I guess trying to speak for them, is that something that comes from the brushstrokes or the paint or the canvas, or does it come from those relationships? Which I know the answer, but
it comes from learning to see. It's harder to paint something. It's harder to see something than it is to paint it. So like I'm painting these characters and whatever attitudes they have. But I think one of the most useful classes I ever had in college, it was a rapid sketch class. It was designed for animators, and they would have a model come in and be in motion doing something, and you had to learn to draw them doing things. So it broke your habit, or the typical habit of trying to look and copy down surface details, and instead you're copying down things that are the internal essence of what's going on. Like how does somebody sit in a chair? How does somebody act scared? How does somebody run? How does somebody look intimidating? And so it's getting away from making it look like it's supposed to look to making it look like it's supposed to feel. And it's got to feel right before it looks right.
Nice. It's amazing. Your work is incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Gabe, could you tell me a little bit about your experience at the Paradise Artist Retreat? I saw you there with Ched Zar.
Yeah, I was there. I was there kind of just as a guest artist, I guess. I had a blast. I was hanging out and having fun and met a lot of cool artists. I think one thing I would suggest is people bring with them is decent lights to paint with, because the lights that are in the auditorium, in the convention centers, they're made for just general lighting purposes. So you're not able to see the color of what you're painting accurately. Especially when you go into demos and the room is dark, you want to have some sort of small daylight balance, like 5,000 Kelvin temperature light, so you can see a good color range in your palette. I guess that was the biggest thing that stuck out for me when I come back, is bringing good lights. But bring a good attitude, not worrying. Like I was listening in before you guys brought me in, when you guys mentioned not feeling intimidated or like you have to impress anybody. Just come with what you got. Don't worry about techniques. Don't worry about if how technically able you are, because the technical side isn't really as important as being able to think. And a lot of what being an artist is, and this applies to whether you're a tattoo artist or a painter or a ceramist or anything, is your ability to think and problem solve more than it is to be, have a steady hand. I mean, having a sort of a innate knack for things is helpful, but a lot of it's just being able to change ideas and conceive things in different ways.
I think that's as far as workshops go of any kind, going there with the intent to make mistakes and and not bring home a great painting. Like
Exactly.
bringing home a great painting shouldn't be your goal, because why are you going if you're such a great painter?
In fact, maybe
so
a step
really keep an open mind and just worry about absorbing and learning as much as you can, and breaking eggs.
Yeah, I was gonna say that maybe there should be a class to try to make a bad painting. Make a bad painting if you can. And maybe that's good advice. Try to make the worst painting you've ever made. You might find that you're a success at being a failure.
We could pull a Burning Man and put a bonfire out there on the last day.
Well, I don't know.
You should have to burn everything you produce.
It is the last time we're going to be in New Mexico, so I mean, now, that this year would be the time to do that. But I don't endorse it.
Yeah, New Mexico it's a great environment. I had a blast. It's just a great experience in many ways, even outside of art, just in the community and the fellowship of fellow artists. So it's worth going just for that. Even if you don't even manage to make anything, it's just being around that much creativity and brotherhood and sisterhood, of course, is great.
I agree.
I'm looking forward to being there for the first time this year, for sure.
I mean, some of the greatest things I learned were sitting around at talking with artists after, not even in seminars, just talking with people around the bonfire that was outside. That the interaction with artists that you could just have, the one-on-one interaction with artists was amazing for me.
I agree. I had the same experience. Some of my best memories of being there was being around the bonfire, for sure. I had some good conversations.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you guys there. Was there anything else any of you would like to add? We're running a little bit late. I wish that I could get to all the questions that I have for all of you guys, but I don't have the time this time. We'll have to do it another time.
Well, right on.
I would say one last thing is for the people that are attending the retreat is to go up to people. I would walk by Gabe's stuff and I was just blown away. I was kind of speechless, but I think I would have, and I will this time, take the time to go up and ask questions. Talk to the artists, especially the ones where their art moves you. I mean, that's why we're there. We're all there to share.
Don't be afraid. If you're attending, don't be afraid to come up to any of the artists that are on the panel and just, ask them any question you feel like asking, because, quite frankly, artists like to talk about themselves.
Well, I know for sure at my booth, I'm used to painting in public on the streets in New York, and that's about the busiest places you can paint. So, I work and talk, so it's, please come and say hi, make me feel comfortable.
Well, thank all three of you for being with me. It was a pleasure talking with all of you.
Thanks so much.
Pleasure, man.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll see you in New Mexico soon.
All right.
All right, buddy.
All right, bye, guys.
Thanks, man.
Thank
Bye.
you.
So I hope you guys enjoyed all of that, and I hope you filled out the form in the chat room so that you can have a chance to join all of those guys at the Paradise Artist Retreat. Your chance to win a ticket will be, the time is now. We're going to announce it very soon. Up next, we've got a couple quick commercials, and then we're going to be back with the Tattoo Now Network News with Rebecca Hanlon, followed by the Tattoo of the Day. And we'll do a quick wrap-up, and then make sure you stick around afterwards. We're going to announce the winner, and then we move on to Guy Aitchison's Hypercast. It's an all biomech show. He's got at least 5 guests, maybe more. It's bound to be impressive, so make sure you stick around for that. And we'll be right back after these commercials with Tattoo Now Network News. Stick around.
Hi, my name is Gary Shepard. I'm one of the owners here at Addictive Nature Tattoo Studio. I met with one of the reps at the Pacific Ink and Art Expo out in Hawaii. That's when I actually got hooked up with a lot more of the product. I started using it, being able to actually notice more what it does during the tattoo procedure. We all have noticed the same thing, that the redness and the swelling goes out of the tattoo, that while you're doing color or white, the highlights and the colors actually are a lot brighter after the tattoo procedure. And basically we've all said the same thing, that it's a real good product to use during the tattoo procedure and after.
And now, Tattoo Now Network News.
Oh, sorry guys. I was too busy uploading a photo to the new Tattoo Now website via my phone. Isn't that exciting? We launched our brand new website. It's beautiful. It's mobile friendly. You know, do all sorts of cool stuff with it. Yeah, so go to tattoonow.com. Same URL, but completely different, redesigned. You know, we did a whole new revamping, new layout, new everything. Extremely user-friendly. Go on, check it out, meander, enjoy everything. Thumb through the store, check out our new items, buy a webinar, maybe it has Jeff Gogue in it, who knows? There's all sorts of cool stuff up there. So we urge you to go on, check it out, put it up on your tablet, on your phone, tell a friend, have a great time. So a second news item to share with you guys tonight is the upcoming Paradise Artist Retreat. And if you don't know about it, you have like legitimately been living underneath a rock. Because I think that's why most of you are here tonight, to share in the excitement for this awesome event that's coming up pretty soon at the end of March, March 30th to April 2nd, in Tamaya, New Mexico. 4 days, art, learning, inspiration, all sorts of cool guys like Dan Marshall, Gabe Leonard, and Jeff Gogue that we have on the show tonight. Yeah, so I hope all of you have filled out that form because we're going to be picking a winner for the free ticket pretty soon. The URL is www.tattoonowtv.com/PAR. And if you don't win tonight, don't worry, we still love you. We're going to be giving away another ticket because we're feeling extra generous. So you can hop on our Instagram or Facebook or something, and you can also check out that image right there. And you can follow the 3 really simple steps. All you have to do is repost it, hashtag PAR ticket, and follow and tag Off the Map Tattoo and tattoonow.com on Instagram. And we will be giving that ticket away in February. So let's see, what else is going on? All sorts of cool stuff. Hiring news, Dark Ages Tattoo Studio in Denton, Texas is looking for a full-time artist, and that is super exciting because if you are interested in a chance to work alongside Francisco Sanchez and Rember, now's the time. All you have to do is email Kelly at rember.tattoos@gmail.com with your portfolio and all sorts of, images of your work and, exciting things. So another tattoo studio that is also hiring is Off the Map Tattoo. They're great. Always hiring or always growing and now hiring. So hop on offthemaptattoo.com/apply and go through the process, fill out the application, show some of your work. Great shop, 3 different locations. Who knows? It could be you. Another exciting piece of news from one of our dear friends is the newest edition of Tattoo Prodigies. Number 2 is out. This wonderful book features 170 different tattoo artists. Some of the best tattoos that we've seen recently are in there. It's been put out by Memento Publishing and Mike DeVries, and you can learn more about it or possibly pick up your copy for yourself or for a friend because, since we're feeling generous, maybe you're feeling generous, that type of thing spreads around. So go to mdtattoos.com and check it out. Maybe you should grab the first edition too and, start a little collection. Another exciting thing happening is the 3rd, in the numbers tonight, 3rd edition of the mini mag that is just, happening to be presented to you right now really seamlessly. Definitely didn't forget to put it on the desk. Our third edition is coming out soon. I'm working very hard on it. So I hope that you're looking forward to it. It's going to be a little bit of a featured spread on digital art this time around. And you can see in the corner a picture that we snapped during the Guy and Russ collab in October. And that is a picture of Russ Abbott's Wacom tablet that he was using to create a leg sleeve. Actually, oh look, here's a little ad for it. Created this leg sleeve with Guy Aitchison with the help of this tablet. So we got really inspired by digital art through that, and we are trying to pass along the inspiration. So if you would like the opportunity to be featured in this spread, and you happen to be a Tattoo Now artist, upload some of your original art. We want to see it. I want to see it. I want to put it in the magazine, but I can't put it in there unless it's been uploaded to the website. And now that it's so easy to upload, you have no excuse. So upload and then email me at minimag@tattoonow.com so I know you want to be featured. Help me help you. All right, so that is a little snapshot of some of the best news that I have to share with you right now. Hope you enjoy the rest of the show, and I hope that one of you just has so much fun at the Paradise Artist Retreat. Enjoy.
Hey, we're back. I hope you enjoyed the Tattoo Now Network news and Tattoo of the Day. if you're a tattoo artist and you want to see your stuff on Tattoo Today, put your best work on Tattoo Now right now and get all your friends and family and followers to vote for it. There's a little thumbs up icon on the website, and whoever gets the most votes every day gets the win. And then every 2 weeks we put them together, and we put them together here on the show. So, we got a winner. I'm going to make a phone call right now for this free ticket to the Paradise Artist Retreat. And if you didn't make it in, don't sweat it. Try our Instagram contest that Rebecca told you about earlier. So, all right, we'll see how this works. Hello, is Kelsey there? Hello? Hi, is Kelsey there?
Yes, this is Kelsey.
Hey, Kelsey, this is Ben from Off the Map Live.
Shut up, no way.
Yeah, wait, you're live on the show right now.
No way, this is not really happening.
This is really happening. You won the ticket to the Paradise Artist Retreat.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for watching the show. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Great. Have you seen it before?
Yeah, I actually, just 2 or 3 months ago, I started watching it religiously.
Well, thank you very much for watching. We will we'll get all your information, and we will get that ticket. We'll put your name on the list, so when you get there, we'll let you in. And
all right, sounds good.
Congratulations, and thanks for playing, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you in New Mexico.
Awesome, thanks.
All right, have a great night.
You too.
Good night. So there you go. Kelsey won. That could have been you. Thanks for playing. Thanks for trying. And if you didn't win, get your butt onto our Instagram contest, and we will be drawing the winner on Groundhog's Day, February 2nd. And maybe you could join Kelsey and make some wonderful artwork. So I'd like to thank all of you guys for watching. It's always appreciated. If you like what you see, let us know. Go to our YouTube channel, rate us, comment, like it, share it, all of that stuff. Because we don't know how well we're doing unless you tell us. Next show, we've got Corey Ferguson with another magical mystery guest who I have not yet determined, but I'm sure it's going to be great. And like I said, thanks for watching, and check out the podcast, and we'll see you next time. Make sure you stay tuned for Guy Aitchison's Hypercast, the Biomech special. It's the second show of his season. I'm sure he's got a full season packed for you. His show is bound to be great. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Take it easy.
I don't remember.
Are you talking to me? Let it ring till morning. Give me one more night. I'll get my words right.